On this week's episode of the WNP podcast, the greatest show on turf returns. Stay tuned. Episode 154 of the We're Not Professionals podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mitchelson, and joining me today, as always, my co-host, Chase Crawshaw. Chase, how are you on this Wednesday evening?
I am doing swell in an alternate reality where I have more sleep.
Oh.
But gotta start off the show that way. I'm very tired. How are you?
I'm doing great.
That's grand.
Had a great day at work. Had a great shower after work. Played some video games.
What a life.
Played some video games.
What a life.
Had my co-host bring me food for dinner.
Had your dog bark during the opening of WNP.
Yeah. Had big talk. Woofing. We're going to have to get him on camera at some point. Maybe he can take George's spot for one episode.
That'd be good. I like that.
Might be like a 30-second episode because he'd be running immediately.
Yeah, he'd be gone.
Anyways, the NFL's back. I can't wait.
Not yet, but upon release.
Well, yeah, upon release, it'll be back. Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to have our prediction for the Bills-Rams game, but that we're not really going to do any talking about that because it's past.
It'll be a moot point.
Yeah. So, on today's episode of the WNP podcast, going to do quick takeaways from week one of the college football season. Going to be talking about some news around the NFL. Look at Mark Sessler's starting quarterbacks from week one rankings. Give our thoughts on those, maybe even do our own top 10 or something. And then we're going to be doing Super Bowl prediction, MVP, week one pick'ems. Going to be a great show. I can't wait for the NFL to be back. Great game to start, Bills-Rams. The Rams, greatest show on turf. Could this team match what that team did back in 99-2000? I mean, they've got the quarterback and the wide receivers to do it. I'm not sure about the running backs, but.
I mean, Joe Henderson season, baby. But no, it's not going to be some, just multifaceted offense. It's going to be very reliant on throwing the ball to Cooper Kupp specifically. Allen Robinson's going to help out quite a bit for sure. But Cooper Kupp, I mean, he really could be on the verge of breaking Michael Thomas's reception record. Maybe he could even break the 2,000-yard mark if he gets targeted the way he did last year. I definitely don't think it's impossible. It's a lofty goal for sure. But now that we have 17 games, I mean, all you need is a receiver and a strong offense to play 17 games, and it's reasonably achievable.
You know what hurts me is my Cincinnati Bengals were 2 minutes away from having this game. But because they lost, they get a 1 p.m. game.
If it makes you feel better, the Lions' latest start this year is 1 p.m. on a Sunday.
Oh, you guys have like the noon game on Thanksgiving?
12:30.
Okay. Nice.
Yep, 12:30 every year. The Lions are 1 p.m. games literally every other game. Hey, you
guys have 0 primetime games?
Thanksgiving is kind of primetime.
Yeah, but that seems like cap that's the only one.
You can look at the schedule if you want.
Huh.
I remember they asked Dan Campbell about it. The Lions are the only team like that, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And he's like, "Oh man, it's awesome. I love it. You know exactly what to expect every single week. You know when you're playing, you don't have to worry about weird sleep schedules or anything. You know when you got to sleep, when you got to be prepared." I'm like, it's fair. This could work out in their advantage.
Mm-hmm. It could. They're going to be rising bright and early to bite those kneecaps.
Yes, sir. And you just got to finish and watch that final episode of Hard Knocks so we can.
I do.
So we can talk about it.
I haven't been able to watch it yet. That's probably what I'm going to do after this show. So
there you go.
We'll talk about that. But the NFL news includes Lamar's extension, a player retiring. Let's hop into that. Screw college football. Yeah.
Okay, my quick takeaway, though, from college football is the amount of ridiculous endings to this week was fun. That's my takeaway.
What was the one game that was going back and forth?
The North Carolina App State game.
Yes.
That was 65-63 final. That was unreal. And then watching LSU get their extra point blocked on that like end of the game comeback, that was crazy. Mm-hmm. So it was a very fun week. It's gonna be tough to top. Like for week 2, I should say.
Yeah, but Texas Bama are going to be a lot of fun.
That's
Excited
it.
for that.
That's it.
Stanford USC. I want to see USC beat the brakes off of Stanford.
That's literally the next most exciting game.
Because USC is back.
We're talking more college football than you wanted to, because right now I got to bring up the point that I saw that Michigan was like a 50-point favorite against Hawaii this week.
As they should be.
No team should ever be given that amount of points. That's such a large number of points to hit. It means you're going to win by 7 possessions.
What was the spread
Or it could technically be less.
for Michigan App State when App State pulled the biggest upset?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know off the rip, but it was probably large.
Yeah, it was large and in charge.
Yeah. That's why it's a little spooky.
What did you think about their first game?
Cade sucked, and they still won that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Especially if JJ can look like, but he had very few plays in that game. But if he looks like he did in that game, there's no concern. Like that should be a college football playoff team again.
Yeah, but Colorado State kind of poopy.
Hawaii is even worse. So they are gonna be.
Yeah,
Hawaii.
well, yeah, going into that one.
What I'm saying, like Cade went 12 for 24 and looked horrible throwing the ball, and they still did that. Is what I'm saying. If you still win that way with your quarterback playing that bad, that's a good sign.
Against Colorado State and the Hawaiis of the world, but once you verse the
I'm saying it's
Alabama's of the world,
it's a good sign if your team is that good where you can still win by such a large margin with your quarterback playing like crap. Do you not understand what I'm saying here?
I understand what you're saying.
It's obviously going to be harder against better teams. I'm not saying it's not going to be. You're just missing the point that the quarterback looked that bad and you still won by a large margin. So all you need is better quarterback play and you can compete against anybody else. Not a problem.
But I think the gap between the Cade McNamara quarterback play and the gap between Colorado State versus the top teams is much bigger than.
But it's still beside the point. Like 12 or 24, 50% in that game is bad. And it just proves that JJ is going to start. And
because Harbaugh already announced that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but he's going to start going forward. He has to mess up this game so horribly, and maybe we could see Orgy go in. Did you hear that call from RG3? I watched the game. So their third or fourth string quarterback, his last name was ORJI, and he got a rushing touchdown. And he goes, "And there's an orgy in the end zone."
Oh no,
it's his name.
Oh no,
it's his name.
Georgia had a pretty good week as well. Absolutely smacking Oregon. I thought it was gonna be a close game because
it's supposed to be closer than that.
Yeah, the DC goes over to Oregon. He's the new head coach. Stetson Bennett, not a believer in him that much, if I'm being honest. And I just didn't think that the offense would have that much firepower to be able to blow out good teams, and they proved that they could.
Just proves that Oregon's always going to be a Mickey Mouse college football team.
Exactly. All right, let's now move on to the NFL. Lamar Jackson, he announced that his extension with the Ravens, the deadline is Friday. Obviously, he's negotiating that himself. He doesn't have an agent, which I think is very interesting. We've seen quarterbacks get big money over the past couple of months. Anything coming down the pipe, or we think he's just going to be entering the season without an extension?
I would assume he signs one. Honestly, for his sake, yeah, you can try to be, I can hold out and get more money down the road, get more money in free agency. That's fine, but Baltimore's built an offense that is made for you, a very hard offense to build because it's so different than most other offenses in the league. So you're going to hope that another team will pay you, build an offense around you where you have that success, and hope they'll give you the guaranteed money where, if you don't get the guaranteed money this year, you do a Lev Bell situation where you get less money than you should have gotten, then you get offered to by your own team, then you're in trouble. Or if you go out there and don't have a contract extension, you get hurt this year, and you just don't have any sort of guaranteed money at all, that's a problem. I think he needs to just really do his best to get it figured out and have that ready to go, and I would assume that he will.
Yeah, I think in terms of Madden 23 franchise mode, anyone who's played it, you'll know what I'm talking about here, but they now have a interest scale when it comes to free agency and players wanting to re-sign. I feel like interest both ways is at an all-time high. Lamar is perfect for the Ravens, and the Ravens are perfect for Lamar.
Yep.
They got to get back together. The only thing that's pushing them aside right now is the money. So,
and both sides are going to have to budge on that. You can't just be one side budging because if only one side's willing to budge, the other side isn't, you're never going to reach a deal. So both sides have to be willing to budge on that.
Yep. Emmanuel Sanders, he retires officially today. 12 years in the NFL, mostly known for his career with Denver. A very good wide receiver, was a very good fantasy player as well. So congrats to him and a great career.
Yeah, absolutely. Very talented receiver. probably still good enough to be on a roster, honestly. Nothing wrong with, wanting to go out, though. I'm sure he at least explored the options and thought about it and saw what was available to him with the money he'd be making. He's like, yeah, it's not really worth it at this point. And fair enough. I can understand that. So hats off to him on a good career. Whatever he does next, best of luck.
All right, let's not talk about Mark Sessler, as he wrote an article coming out today on the 7th that he's ranking all 32 starters entering the 2022 season. So we're going to start this a little quiz style, okay? So, number one, who's the number one quarterback coming in?
He probably is Josh Allen, number one?
Nope.
He probably is Tom Brady, number one?
Yes.
Okay.
Tom Brady, number one.
I can understand the argument for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely like Tom Brady is probably the best just quarterback in the NFL. He's not the most talented. Josh Allen might be the best, arguably the best weapon in the NFL in terms of at the quarterback position, but just the best actual quarterback play is probably Tom Brady. So that's fair.
Right. We'll continue to go quiz style until we hit the top 5. So number 2.
I'm gonna go with Josh Allen.
No.
I'm gonna go with Patrick Mahomes.
No.
I'm gonna go with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is the guy. Number 3.
Josh Allen.
Yes. Number 4.
Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert, number 4, above number 5, which is
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Interesting to see. Me personally, I thought it was a little wild to have Tom Brady at 1 above the reigning MVP, and then to see Justin Herbert over his in-division rival, Patrick Mahomes, that was a little surprising as well. I know Justin Herbert has been fantastic in his young career, and he has so much hype coming into this year, but just what we've seen from the two over the past 2 years, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is right there, and he's been able to win an MVP. He's been able to win a Super Bowl. He's done so much.
I mean, I've got a working theory here.
Okay.
We were obviously Justin Herbert fans coming out of college, not a big flex, but
shocker,
smartest guys in the room. The NFL, they're just trying to make up for their hate on Justin Herbert because everyone's like, he's not going to have success in the NFL. What a terrible pick. Not everyone, but a lot of people were against the pick. And it was very clear that you just put him in an offense that is decent and he's going to do fine. Sure enough, he's excelling. And now everyone's trying to make up time. It was like, oh, we were just kidding. He's actually the best ever. He's come out of nowhere. He's doing so great. It's like, no, if you just understood football and understand the situation the offense he was playing in, you could have better predicted this. So now they're all trying to make up for all this lost time.
Mm-hmm. A little shocking to me here. We've got Russell Wilson down at number 11. Kyler Murray ahead of him. Dak Prescott ahead of him. Matthew Stafford, Lamar Jackson, and then Joe Burrow. That rounds out the last 5 before we reach his number 11.
I could really see almost any of those names in any order and not be that upset about it. I'd maybe put Dak and Kyler at the bottom of the group. But the rest of the names, really, honestly, I could see them in any order, and it's not like I get angry about it.
Ryan Tannehill or Jalen Hurts?
Pass.
Got to take one.
Jalen Hurts, I guess.
Ryan Tannehill or Matt Ryan?
Matt Ryan.
Ryan Tannehill or Mac Jones?
Mac Jones.
Ryan Tannehill or Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield for sure.
Ryan Tannehill or Trevor Lawrence?
I'll take the chance of Trevor Lawrence.
Ryan Tannehill or Trey Lance?
Next question.
Justin Fields?
Next question.
I'm going through all of these because Ryan Tannehill,
above all of them,
he currently ranks 14.
So who's 12 and 13? Can I guess? Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr?
Yep. Derek Carr is 12, and then Cousins 13.
I just figured some sort of order, but that's, Tannehill is just not a good thrower, and he's just a solid runner, honestly.
He's really good at throwing the ball to the Bengals defense.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's just, I think he's going to prove this year, not that he's going to get benched at some point during the year, but I think he's going to prove that he's got really not too much more left to give to the game as a starting quarterback, and we'll see. Either Malik Willis take the reins over it late this year into next year, or maybe they go and get someone else at quarterback. But I can't see Tannehill really being a starter much longer, so I don't agree with this at all.
All right. I was thinking about maybe we do our top 10 quarterbacks, but I feel like most people are on the same page on who their top 10 is.
Yeah, I think so.
So we can just skip over that. Let's talk about some things that we're excited to see. We can talk about in week 1. We can talk about overall. I think the number one thing I'm most excited to see is my Cincinnati Bengals. No shocker. They made it to the Super Bowl last year, and I can't wait to see what they do this year. They've got a better offensive line, but there is some nerves because there is zero depth behind them, and some of the guys on the offensive line have injury histories, like La'el Collins. So a little nerve-wracking, but at the same time, if the offensive line stays healthy, this could be the number one offense in football.
I predicted that it will, and I very well think it should be. What I'm most looking forward to is it's got to be my Detroit Lions, and it's specifically attending the games this year. Week 1, don't know if you saw this or not, but games completely sold out. They're selling standing room tickets at the moment. It hasn't. I don't know if it was just happened in Detroit or it hasn't happened anywhere, but something that hasn't happened since 2019. I'm assuming in Detroit is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of buzz being generated for the team right now. Obviously, I'm a season ticket holder. Go to a ton of the games. I'm a huge Lions fan, so it'll be cool to see a packed barn because it's been really quite some time since I've seen just a really unbelievable environment. I remember back when this team was fighting for the playoffs and the 2010 through 2016 range, really, when the team was strong, doing well, and we saw how loud that place got.
Mm-hmm.
The Monday night game where they the fans generated 13 false starts for the opposing team, like that type of stuff. It very well could happen here because everyone's all in on Dan Campbell. Everyone is back to supporting the Lions. It's the most optimistic I've seen all my family and all my friends as Lions fans in my lifetime. So it's super exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all plays out this year. I still think we all have to temper expectations a little bit, but I think we can at least provide some fun environments this year.
Yeah, Hard Knocks has done wonders for the Lions organization, as there is a totally different feeling this year.
Social media is loving the Lions right now.
Mm-hmm.
First time ever.
A lot of people are saying that they're this year's Bengals, which I do have to say that a guy I work with or used to work with, he's back up at school, Ryan, he said this, and I brought it up to you 2 months ago on the show, that they're this year's Bengals, and he even said that they're going to have a better season than the Bengals, which means win the Super Bowl. So when other media personnel said it, he was like, oh, that was my take. So I do want to give him credit. He was the first person I heard say it. But at the same time, what the Bengals did last year was...
It's a unicorn.
Yeah, 0.1% chance of it being repeated.
It's very rare. And even prior to him having that take, probably 2 months ago, I remember seeing stuff back in April, May about people talking about the Lions, having a real chance of taking a big jump here because of how many close games they were in without really losing anybody major, all this stuff. So it's not like it was a brand new take by any means, but fair enough. If that works out, more power to them. I'll tip my hat to them at that point, but let's be realistic here.
So are you thinking that this team is fighting for playoffs, or are you thinking they're just going to be a more entertaining team?
I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think they're necessarily going to be 10-7 missing the playoffs, that type of fighting for the playoff spot. I don't think they're going to be the final team that misses it. But I think they're going to win more games. They're going to be competitive throughout these games for the most part. We saw a couple of blowouts last year, but really 13, 14 of the 17 games, they were competitive all the way through. And I think we're going to see that with a few better results this time. So, the one possession games are going to go our way a little bit more, or we're not going to see any more record-breaking field goals. The stupid stuff that just has always plagued the Lions in my lifetime. I don't think we're going to see that as much. The team, they just look like they play a little differently. They play better. They've brought a good infusion of young talent. I think Aiden's in for a pretty good year. He's looked really good so far through this preseason, through the offseason. I'm super excited. So I think it's, a team I had them at the 8 or 9 win range, whatever it was. I think that's very much possible. 9 still seems high. So if they can hit 8 wins, I'm gonna be, pleasantly surprised, kind of happy, but at the same time I'll also be a little annoyed. It's can you just win 2 more and get in?
Right.
So I would assume that they're fighting for a playoff spot, but not necessarily a playoff team.
So as we do every year, we do pick'ems for every single week. So this year, I decided that with the 5 of us, that being Chase, myself, Johnny, who's been on the show, Graham, who is the Lions enthusiast on the show, and then Chris, who has been on the show. It's been quite some time since he's been here, but we do our pick'ems. We decided we would do a preseason predictions as well, with teams making playoffs, records, Super Bowl prediction, MVP, all of that. I just briefly wanted to go look at Graham's and talk about 3 surprising things I see in the NFC. Get your thoughts on those, because he was only here for the North episode. We didn't get to hear all of his takes, but he does have the Lions at 10-7 making the playoffs. He's got the Cowboys at 8-9 missing the playoffs, and then the Panthers at 10-7 making the playoffs, What are your thoughts on those three?
I mean, I was more skeptical on the Panthers, but getting closer to the year, I feel even better about them because I do believe in Baker. I've always believed him as an NFL quarterback, maybe not some sort of like world breaker type guy, but I thought it's a quarterback you can absolutely win football games with and compete with. So I can see 10-7 being possible. There's enough young tools around them. They just got to take the right step. I can understand why the Cowboys might regress from last year, but I still can't really see them going 8-9, especially like when you get 4 free wins against Commanders and the Giants. Like you get a free base 4-0. Assume they go 1-1 with the Eagles. You're starting at 5-1. It means you got to go 3-8 the rest of the way. I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
and then 10-7, like, it would be awesome. I would be so happy, but I can't say it until it happens.
And then the Cardinals at 6-11 as well. Didn't really notice that until now, and that seems a bit low.
That is quite low. I don't see how they win that few games. Like their defense only got better and their offense is about the same.
Mm-hmm. One last thing, a part of the news segment that I kind of forgot to mention was that Kenny Pickett listed as the backup to start week 1. Mitch Trubisky is going to be the guy.
I thought he was listed as the third. I thought Mason Rudolph.
He was originally, but as of, I think it was yesterday, he already jumped Mason Rudolph.
Okay. That was just a little trade bait thing for Mason Rudolph.
Yeah. And that means this year will be the first time since 2007 for there to be a rookie quarterback not starting.
Not for there to be 0 rookie quarterbacks starting week 1.
Yes.
Which is crazy. It's a long streak, and we've been pretty blessed with a strong influx of quarterback talent coming in throughout the recent years, and then in the previous years after that, there's always someone that needed someone to start right away, and we thought we had that. I thought that when they trade up for Kenny Pickett that they were gonna, or did they trade up or no, he just fell right to him, didn't he? I was thinking when the Saints traded for Chris Olave, they were gonna take Kenny Pickett or something, but so when they got Kenny Pickett, it seemed like they were probably gonna just let him do his thing. But apparently they're going to let him sit, take his time, whatever, that's fine. It's just, it takes out a little bit of excitement in week 1. Just not a ton. I'm still excited for football to be back, but it's just, you don't really get to see, what's Malik Willis going to do for the Titans week 1, because he's not going to start week 1. You're going to instead have to bank on, all right, what's the Trevor Lawrence bounce back going to be? What's Trey Lance going to do his first full season as a starter? Is Justin Fields going to be able to work with the bad tools around him? So there's still young quarterbacks to root for, but there's no like brand new quarterbacks to root for.
That and then Zach Wilson being out too. That kind of stinks too.
Joe Flacco season,
Flacco.
Baby. Let's go.
It does make me very happy though as a Bengals fan going up against the Steelers week 1. I've seen a lot of Mitch Trubisky, and I'm very excited to see what Mitch Trubisky can do against the Bengals defense. Very excited. Or I should say, what the Bengals defense can do against Mitch Trubisky.
There you go. That's the terminology you're looking for.
Going to be a great time. All right, Chase, well, let's hop into Super Bowl and MVP predictions because we've, up to this point, we've done our North, South, East, West predictions for both the AFC and NFC. We've told you who's going to make playoffs. We've told you records. We've told you divisional records. We've told you everything. So now it's time to put the cap on top by giving you our Super Bowl prediction and our MVP. Chase, I'll let you go first.
That's soft.
All
right.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, whatever. If you want me to go first, I will.
Okay.
I thought you were going to jump with your cliche pick right away. But really, I don't see how the Bills don't get there. I feel like they were kind of robbed last year. What?
I've talked about it multiple times that if there's any division where there's a team that seems like such an obvious for them to get there, it'd be coming out of the NFC. There's so much talent in the AFC that.
No, I understand, but like I'm talking about like universal like karma, like to get eliminated that way and be as equally, if not more talented as the team the previous year. How do you not at least do that again?
Did you know that the Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in a row?
I do. So they're owed one at some point, but I've been saying that about the Lions as well. So I guess maybe not. But I think the Bills are safely my top team in the AFC, and I could see, I guess, really where another team might be able to dethrone them from that. But I just feel the most comfortable about the Bills out of all teams in the NFL getting there. It's going to be a hard path for sure, but if I'm going to just bet on someone this year, it's going to be the Bills. Out of the NFC, very, very well, the Rams are the favorite team. It's like, oh, who else do you pick? Well, you could pick the Bucs like I did. Because I don't think the Rams are going to do it again. Super Bowl hangover. I don't think they're going to be like bad this year, but I just don't think they're going to be able to kind of storm through the playoffs and do what they did last year. Just for whatever reason, just a feeling I have. So I'm looking around at the NFC teams, and I just think the Tom Brady revenge tour is real. I think he's going to come out and have a better year than you expect. Now that it sounds like Godwin's going to be healthy to play week one, that's a big bonus. I would like enough of this team. Rashad White's going to be a nice infusion of youth and talent in that backfield as well, on top of having a strong defense, led by Vita Vea, Antoine Winfield. They've got everything they need. They just got to win the football games.
Yeah. I have a cliche here as Bills beating the Rams because it seems like that's what everyone's betting at this point. Both of those teams, the hard favorites within their own conference. But I don't want to go to cliche. I had Justin Herbert as my MVP at first as well, but so many people are betting on that now, and it's just to the point for me, like, yes, it makes sense on why those would be the picks, but at the same time, I don't want to just walk with the crowd. I don't want to be right with 700,000 other people, so I'm going to take a different route here. And I do want to talk about the AFC real quick because last year when we were coming into the AFC playoffs, there was 3 obvious weak teams for me. The Titans, even though they're the number 1 seed, they still look like a much weaker team.
They squeaked their way there.
Yeah, they had a bad stretch without Derrick Henry. And then you had the Raiders who snuck in past the Chargers. I didn't really think they were going to be that competent. And then you had the Patriots as well. Oh, wait, and the Steelers. You had the Patriots. So you had 4 teams that I think were pretty weak coming into the playoffs. When I'm looking at my AFC playoffs right now, I only see one team that I would consider weak, and that's the division-winning Colts. So
and they're like a strong enough team where they could win a playoff run too.
Yeah, like I've got Bills, Bengals, Colts, Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, the whole AFC West. I think that all of those teams are talented enough where they can all beat each other. Now, obviously, some teams will be favored over some of the others, but they're all so talented there. So the AFC really up in the air for me. Like I said, cliche, Bills defeat the Rams. However, I'm going to go something different, be a little quirky with it. I'm going to do, might be homer bias, but.
Might be, just might.
I'm going to go the Cincinnati Bengals beating the
Detroit Lions.
San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. San Francisco 49ers have a great defense, and they were dealing with injuries last year too. So I'm excited to see what that defense can do. And if Chase is right and thinks that
Lance season,
if Trey Lance can come onto the scene and really do some good things, we've seen Jimmy Garoppolo take them to the NFC Championship last year. We've seen Jimmy Garoppolo take them to the Super Bowl. If Trey Lance is just far and away better than Jimmy Garoppolo, how do they not get back?
If he provides them 30 total touchdowns and 30 touchdowns or more and 15 or less turnovers in any way, shape, or form, interceptions or fumbles, like they're winning 12 games, like guaranteed. So yeah. I think that's a very possible outcome too. Like those numbers, those aren't like, these are just unworldly numbers. Those are very realistic starting quarterback numbers, and the rest of the team is just so strong around him that it's very possible. So I'm all for it. I like to make it. It is a little bold.
Yeah.
Because you don't really see many teams with these second-year quarterbacks, in this type of situation that can just take that type of jump right away. But if any team was ready to do it, it's the 49ers. If any player had the traits to do it, it's Trey Lance.
I'm glad you're on board with my 49ers pick. And then to defend the Bengals, I mean, the Super Bowl hangover, everyone talks about how, the Super Bowl loser not being able to make playoffs. Everyone talks about that. If there's a team that's going to beat that stigma, it's the Cincinnati Bengals team. They're so young. They kept pieces together. They upgraded their worst position at offensive line. This can be the number 1 offense in the league. The defense got more volatile or more dangerous because they added Dax Hill to already a stacked secondary with Jesse Bates and Von Bell coming back. They get Joseph Osai back, who was a beast at Texas and showed some flashes in preseason last year. I just think that all things point upwards for the Cincinnati Bengals. They made it to the Super Bowl last year. Why can't they do it again?
Because the Bills are better.
All right, Chase, let's talk about your MVP.
Yeah, funny enough that you mentioned the Bengals. Because I was trying to decide, do it like 2 guys slightly off the board. At least one of them. The other one would be a lot more off the board. I decided to go with Joe Burrow as my number one. I think there's so much around him to potentially be the league's number one offense. And if that's the case, if he throws 45 touchdowns on top of 5,000 yards, like how is he not your number one vote? That's
right.
Obviously a high number to hit for both those things, but it's very realistic based on everything that's around him. The offensive line has improved, and he got it done last year, even with a kind of bad offensive line. Jamar Chase in year 2, T. Higgins in year 3, Tyler Boyd in year 5, I believe. Hayden Hurst. If they had O.J. Howard too, if they would have actually signed him, that would have even just sent this off even more to me. They could have had 2 tight ends that are usable, but Hayden Hurst is definitely an upgrade for what this offense is going to be than C.J. Uzomah was. There's just so much to like. There's just it's just two team size of an option not to choose. My other guy that I was going to pick, no one's going to pick him here, so I can say it. Like, I was going to take a big dart throw on Trey Lance. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But if I could plant my flag and say, oh, I was predicted this, I was right, and it worked out, that'd be pretty cool. But Joe Burrow just has so much going for him, and he's in such a position to succeed. I don't know how I go against it.
Right. You and Kurt Warner in the same boat, as he also took Burrow for MVP. I was going to say, last year, yards looked great for Joe Burrow. Touchdowns, we could see that go up a little bit. I didn't realize he had 34 touchdowns last year. That's a very good number for a second-year quarterback that is coming off of a very injury-plagued offseason. So this is Joe Burrow's first real offseason. Got cut short a little bit with his appendicitis, but this guy's got it.
As long as he plays a full year, regardless, I think he'll average 2 touchdowns a game at minimum, and that's 34 passing touchdowns. So I think he's going to have that minimum. So 40 is an attainable number. 45 is a high number, but I still don't think it's definitely out there. So it'd be cool if he does it. It'd be fun for you, obviously. And it'd be cool to see because I do like Joe Burrow a lot. I've been a big fan of his since really he started breaking out at LSU, so it'd be cool to see.
Wait. So let me get this straight. You had 2 off-the-board picks, one being Joe Burrow and the other being Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Which means my Super Bowl would look real good.
Yeah. If imagine if Burrow wins MVP, Trey Lance is runner-up, and then, if that happens, then once playoffs start, I'll if they have those type of seasons, I'll happily bet those two to be the Super Bowl matchup. I ain't betting that start of the year.
My MVP, I initially had Justin Herbert down, kind of like the cliche Bills versus Rams. Justin Herbert has become such a cliche. I think he's the number 2 or number 3 bet MVP favorite, only behind Josh Allen and probably Aaron Rodgers. So, everyone is all in on Herbert.
Yeah, these are just the pure odds. I don't know where the Athletic pulled them from, but it has Josh Allen at plus 700, Mahomes 800, Tom Brady 800, Justin Herbert 850.
Really?
Yeah.
Herbert's above Rodgers, but under Brady.
Yeah.
Interesting. I had Herbert at first, decided not to go with it. I now have Mahomes on the sheet.
Even more of a chalk pick according to this.
Only one MVP in his career so far.
I mean, in all fairness, he's only played he only started for 4 or 5 seasons.
This will be his 6th year.
In the NFL.
Yes, but
This will be his 5th year starter.
We're gonna stick with the number 1, but not stick with Patrick Mahomes, because I'm gonna go with the quarterback that hasn't even had one.
Oh, you're changing it up again.
MVP vote, as I'm going Russell Wilson to win the MVP. Off the board, crazy. I needed to do something different. I didn't want to be so cliche with my pick. Russell Wilson is a guy that can do it. He's coming into a new offense. Offensive line, a little bit better, still not great. Running back situation, much better. Wide receivers, pretty on par. I think depth is a little bit better in Denver. But the big thing, he's going from Pete Carroll to Nathaniel Hackett. What has Nathaniel Hackett done? Oh, he just helped Aaron Rodgers win.
Dominate.
It helped Aaron Rodgers win back-to-back MVPs. Lock in Russell Wilson. The Broncos going to have a big year, 12-5, making the playoffs. And Russ is the reason. We're letting him cook. We're letting him ride. He's dialed in. I'm in.
No.
Let's ride, baby. Let's ride.
It's definitely possible, but I don't know. It just feels like it's destined to never happen until the last year or 2 of his career, where he just randomly has a really big year and then falls off super heavy afterwards.
To be fair, I was between him and Derek Carr. Because I'm like, I'm not going to copy you and go Joe Burrow. I don't want the Justin Herbert or the Patrick Mahomes pick anymore. Josh Allen might be the most cliche pick, so I'm not going to do that. So,
where do you think Derek Carr sits for odds? So, just frame of reference, Josh Allen is top at plus 700. Russell Wilson is the 8th ranked quarterback in terms of odds. This is from BetMGM at plus 1,400. What do you think Derek Carr's odds are? And I'll see what number he is total right there.
I don't think he should be lower than 11. It's Devontae Adams coming over. Darren Waller going to be healthy. Hunter Renfrow there. I mean, we've seen him be top 3 or top 5 in MVP votes just a couple of years ago. So I don't think he should be lower than 11.
He's 13th in odds. Do you want to guess what those odds are?
1,700.
Plus 2,500.
25.
Same odds as Trey Lance. And then the next from there, I don't know if these are just like the top 20 odds necessarily, but next from there is a bigger jump. It's Matt Ryan at plus 4,000. So when you're getting into that range, you're not really betting on much. So they're saying Trey Lance and Derek Carr are like the absolute cutoffs and like realistic possibilities, quote unquote.
Where's Tua?
Tua is second to last on this list at plus 5,000.
Okay.
Jameis Winston's last on this list at plus 6,600. There's obviously guys that are lower than this too, but like this is just their the list that's provided to me.
Johnny always talks about not being a betting man, but hey, Tua at plus 5,000, he might go all in.
He can throw away his money. That's fine.
All right, Chase. Well, let's go to our week 1 pick'ems.
Let's do it.
We got a couple of good games, but a couple that should be blowouts as well. We'll start with the Bills and the Rams. Obviously, you guys are going to know the result already, but both of us locking in the Bills.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I got him as my Super Bowl visiting team, I guess, if that's the word. Super Bowl winning, visiting. I didn't say if they were winning or not, did I? I said they were going there.
I think did you not say Bills defeat?
Well, yeah, I did. Yeah, the Bills win. Go Bills. It's going to be a fun game, but I'm still going to take the Bills. It's kind of not necessarily do I did the Bengals last year. I took the Bengals in every single game, but I'm going to take the Bills in most games this year.
Mm-hmm. The first matchup we're going to look at the 1 o'clock slot on Sunday, Saints-Falcons. Who do you got here?
So I'm going with the Falcons. Don't know why. Just the feeling I had when I was looking at this, I'm like, it just feels like the Falcons are going to randomly win this game. I don't think it's going to be because anybody has a great game. I think it's going to be more because the Saints kind of just struggle. Chris Olave coming out as a wide receiver 5. It's like, let's not provide Jameis Winston with his best talent. Why do we want to do that? So I think the Falcons put up a better effort than expected. And can maybe sneak out with a win here, but from there, I don't expect much more from the Falcons.
Yeah, it's in Atlanta. Maybe they can do something, but I'm going to go the Saints here. I think the only way that the Falcons have a chance is if Jameis Winston really struggles. I think as long as he's safe, the Saints just have the better team top to bottom, so that's why I'm going to go Saints there. Let's not talk about the Browns at the Panthers. We know about this. Baker Mayfield, his old team, coming to visit his new team. I wish it was the other way around, if I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I agree.
But it should be a fun one. Who do you got?
I put in here the Panthers by 80. They're not actually going to win by 80, but I think that Baker's going to have a hell of a day. So if you do DFS, I would recommend picking Baker for your lineup. I think that the Panthers are going to have a great game, possibly win by like 2 possessions. It's not going to be an easy game, even with the Browns' offense being led by Jacoby Brissett. Still a super strong defense with enough talent around where it's not going to be super easy, but I think the Panthers should come out with a good win on the back of a Baker Mayfield carry.
I'm going Panthers as well. I just want the Panthers to win this one. I want Baker to go off, so that's why I'm picking them. However, I would not be shocked if Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, other studs on the defensive side of Cleveland can really, hurt Baker Mayfield's chances at having a good game. And the Browns winning is not out of the possibility, that's for sure.
Grant Delpit season, baby.
49ers at Bears. This one is not very close.
No, I like Johnny's pick of the 49ers.
Yeah.
Instead of just, for 49ers. But yeah, it's the 49ers. Trey Lance throwing for 6,000 yards in this game.
I am excited to see Fields versus Lance, but when you just look at the weapons around the two quarterbacks, it's not close. The Bears have not done well in trying to help Justin Fields.
I think there's a chance that, at the end of the game, Justin Fields has a better box score because he has to do more out of desperation for trying to win for his team, where Trey Lance doesn't have to force the ball as much, doesn't have to run as much. He can just really rely on his outlets near him and rely on the defense. So this game might come out as a decent one for the Niners, but it's like, oh, Justin Fields played so well and Trey Lance did nothing. But I don't think it's going to be necessarily just because one guy outperformed the other. It's different situations.
Right. Steelers at the Bengals. Just locking the Bengals. It's over.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I do pick the Bengals again every single game this year. We'll see.
They're a 6.5-point favorite.
I'll take them on the spread. I'll take them on the points. I'll take a 7-point win for them.
I think so as well. The last 2 games that they played was double-digit wins, and they won 3 straight now on the Steelers, which, as a Bengals fan, that does not happen often. So it's been very happy for me.
And the Steelers very well could win this game. Just like it's not impossible.
Well,
it's a solid enough defense where maybe it works out. But I think you're gonna have to have like the top unit to really stop this Bengals offense.
Mm-hmm. Eagles at the Lions. You're going to be at this game. Who are you taking?
I'm going to show up to Ford Field with my 2-liter of blue Kool-Aid because I'm just drinking the Lions Kool-Aid baby this year. Not quite as much as some of our friends, but I am going the Lions in this game. I think it should be a pretty good one. I think it'll be close. I think it's going to be different than the game last year because it was an absolute slaughter last year, like 48-6. But it's going to be like whoever wins the game is going to win it a completely different way than the other team. So either the Eagles are going to win by just dominating us on the ground, or the Lions are going to win because Jared Goff threw for 300+ yards. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to bet on the Lions in this one. It just feels right to me coming off of Hard Knocks. They're going to have a lot of hype. They're going to have the fans on their side. This feels like a Lions win.
I hate to be a Debbie Downer. I really want the Lions to take this one, but I got to go with the Eagles here. I think the Eagles are one of the top teams in the NFC, which is kind of weird to say, but the defense got better this offseason, adding Jordan Davis and linebacker from Georgia.
Nakobe Dean. Who's listed as like a third string or something right now.
Yeah, but, he's got the athletic. Is he even going to be healthy enough to play?
I have no idea.
But, the defense.
I think I saw Jordan Davis is listed as a backup too.
He'll still get time.
He definitely will, but like, I thought that was kind of surprising.
Yeah, a little surprising. Swift and Williams will feel his presence when he's in the game, though.
Yeah.
He's a monster. The Eagles just got better this offseason, so I think they're a very good team, and unfortunately, I think the Lions will be there in a couple of years, but not this year, so I'm going to Eagles.
Soft.
Colts, Texans in Houston.
I would take the Texans to cover the spread in this one, but I do think the Colts are going to come out with the win.
I got the Colts as well. I'm not sure what the spread is, do you?
No, but I just whatever it is.
2 points.
Okay, if it's that low, maybe not. But like, I'm assuming it's going to be over like like at least a possession, like a full possession, like at least like a 6.5, 7 type line. If not larger, probably larger. And I think the Texans are going to keep it close. I've
got the Colts as well, and I think that just kind of points to my concerns with the Colts as like a playoff team in the AFC. Like I think they're for sure the best team in their division. The Titans are the only team rivaling them. Maybe the Jags if Trevor Lawrence has a breakout, but I don't see any of those teams, competing in the AFC playoffs.
Yeah.
Patriots at the Dolphins, a little in-division rivalry here. You hate Tua.
I do hate Tua. I don't have everything against Tua. I'm just not a fan of him as a quarterback. He just doesn't do what I want on the field. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe he can prove me wrong. I'm happy to have guys prove me wrong for me doubting them. If I'd rather see people succeed than fail. So if he does, great. But Patriots are going to win this game anyway, so that's a moot point.
Chase said that he doesn't actually hate Tua. Let me prove to you why he does hate Tua, and it's a burning hate inside of his soul. As a Lions fan, he just picked Matt Patricia calling plays for the Patriots to beat the Dolphins.
I did.
So that's some real hate because we know that Matt Patricia calling plays for the Lions wasn't the best.
And I don't think this game's going to be it's fair. And I don't think it's going to be like the offense's fault the Dolphins lose. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game, honestly. It just feels that way to me because the Dolphins defense isn't very great. And I got a feeling we're going to see like 200+ rushing yards for the Patriots in this game.
I am excited to see this game because I think that Tua could prove he's better than Mac Jones. I just want to see these two Alabama quarterbacks who have been, middle to low end starters. I want to see who is the better one. They were on the team together. Tua was better at college according to the depth chart, but excited to see the matchup in the actual NFL. Ravens at Jets. We've got Joe Flacco going up against his old team. Who are we taking?
Mark Andrews had a certain quote about this game. Let's leave it at that. I do have to say it's going to be an awesome game for sure. But the Ravens are going to come out the win in this one.
Agreed.
Joe Flacco starting at quarterback is just all you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
But according to whoever it was, I think it's Garrett Wilson, says throws a more friendly wide receiver ball, which means he just throws a better football than Zach Wilson.
No, I don't know about that.
So that's a funny quote.
Is Dan Orlovsky a better thrower of the football than Matt Stafford? Because I'm sure Calvin Johnson would say that Dan Orlovsky throws a friendlier ball than Matt Stafford.
I don't think he would know because Dan Orlovsky couldn't get the ball down the field to Calvin Johnson, so he didn't think it was very friendly.
You're right. He was too busy running out of the end zone.
Exactly.
All right, Jaguars at Commanders, two teams that were terrible last year, and I expect to be, terrible to middling. I think that they can get out of that purgatory, but both teams have a lot of holes.
Jags. That's just my analysis. Duval, baby.
I think the Commanders' defense could do some real damage against the Jags.
They absolutely could, but I like this Jags offense enough to not necessarily be like a dominant thing, but like a potentially middle of the pack team, mostly based on a Trevor Lawrence breakout and running backs being a good tandem. And the defense is young, but I think has a chance to succeed. I'm not going to call them some world-breaking team by any means, but against the Commanders, who I think are going to have a very ugly offense this whole season, all you got to do is out-battle them in one aspect of the game, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I want to say the Jags take it. That's why I picked them. Giants at the Titans. I think the Titans regress heavily. I don't think they make the playoffs this year. This is still the easiest slam dunk of the week for me.
I think I agree. I don't know if I'm picking the Giants a single game this year. Unless they prove me wrong at some point throughout the year, just how things look now, I don't know how I'm going to pick them head-to-head in a game.
I think the only bright side to think about when it comes to the Giants is Saquon Barkley and Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, there's some nice young pieces, but you got a certain quarterback throwing the ball.
Those are the only guys I'm actually looking forward to watch when it comes to. I'm probably not even going to watch them, to be fair. Any of their games, even if they're on primetime, probably not going to watch.
I mean, I'll see them on red zone if they happen to score somehow. That's really about it. Because like looking at the 4:00 window with these other games that are on, if they're available, I'm choosing those games over them without a doubt.
Chiefs at the Cardinals. This could be a fun game. The Cardinals are getting faded a lot by the media. I know you're not a big Cliff guy.
Not really.
Any chances the Cards can make an upset?
I thought about picking the Cardinals in this game, honestly. I opted to go with the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think this is going to be some sort of slam dunk win by any means. If the Cardinals win, I certainly will not be surprised. But I'm just going to put my faith in Patrick Mahomes over Kyler Murray at this point.
I agree. I'm going to Chiefs as well. Raiders at Chargers, an AFC West matchup, and really what's to come over there in that division. I'm very excited for this game, as well as the next 425 game. Both are going to be exciting to watch. Both I'm going to have on my TV screen.
I agree. I think that this is going to be a very fun game for the Chargers to establish themselves as a potentially threatening offense and defense in the league, because I've got a lot of faith in this team as a whole. I think they're going to come out with this win. I think the Raiders will definitely compete. It's not going to be some sort of blowout win again either. But comparing pretty much everything other than like the wide receiver one and your tight end one, like I'm taking the Chargers in almost every other aspect.
I'm going to take the Chargers as well in a close game. If you tell me next week that the Raiders just came out and stifled the Chargers in every aspect and won like 31-10, I probably wouldn't be shocked at this moment, just because I feel like the Raiders a little underrated right now. The Chargers a little bit overrated. I'm not really sure, what's happening between these two teams when it comes to their actual camps. Still taking the Chargers, but I think the Raiders upset's definitely possible.
For sure.
Packers at the Vikings. This is another fun one. NFC North matchup. This is really going to determine who's going to be the top of the NFC North, unless the Lions do have a big surge.
Yeah, I agree. The Packers are the better team, though, because they have the significantly better quarterback. And, Aaron Rodgers was talking, we need our best 11 players in the field on offense and on defense. So he's obviously in the field. I think we're going to see a lot of two running back sets this year. Honestly, it just feels like it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a really nice kind of power combo between the offense or between the running game and the passing game. It's going to be more balanced out than previous years. And I think it's going to be a little overwhelming for the Vikings, honestly, in week one. I think they're going to be kind of not expecting it. They're going to be ready for Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball maybe 55, 60%. but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to go with the Packers and potentially a big win.
I'm thinking about changing.
Change it. What are you scared of?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm going to go the Vikings. I initially had the Packers because, yes, Aaron Rodgers. But when you look top to bottom, the actual depth chart as a whole, the Vikings are just the better team. They are more balanced across the board. Yes, the high end goes to the Packers because of the quarterback situation. But I really like the Vikings defensive line, the ability to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Zadarius Smith, the former Packer, now on the Vikings, going after Rodgers. That's going to be fun. Kirk Cousins, he's safe. He's not a talented quarterback on the same level as Aaron Rodgers, I should say. But he's still got so many weapons. And now with an offensive-minded head coach, I think they could do some damage. This Vikings team is very interesting to me this year because they're one of those teams that have the talent but haven't really been able to put it together over the past couple of years. Could this be the year? Possibly. They're going to have to get a win right off the rip if they want it to be. So that's why I'm going to change, and I'm going to go to the Vikings.
Glad to hear it.
Buccaneers at the Cowboys. We were talking about it on the Bolts broadcast that this was the matchup last year for the very first game, except it was Cowboys at the Bucs. This one was a very close one last year to open the season. The Bucs did come out on top. Do you think the same happens this year?
I think it'll be a good game, but I think the Bucs will probably have anywhere from like a 5 to 8 point win, so like somewhere in that range. It's an awkward number, but I think that it's going to be like a safe one possession, not just a field goal type of win. I trust this team more right now. The Cowboys, they're a talented team. They've got Dak, who's a very reliable quarterback. They've got CeeDee Lamb. They've got Michael Gallup, who I don't know if he's even gonna be healthy or not week 1. Zeke, Pollard, Dalton Schultz. You got enough on offense, but when it comes down to to the defense of the Bucs, when you got Vita Vea shutting down the defensive front, when you got Antoine Winfield in that defensive backfield, it's gonna be hard to really down in on offense. And then I'm just gonna really bet on Tom Brady almost every other quarterback in the NFL just in a single game that you got to give me. So it's enough for me to take the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm going the Buccaneers as well. These two teams 2 years ago had both top 5 offensive lines. Not the case right now, as the Cowboys, they just had to go out and get Smith.
Tyron Smith, right?
No, Tyron Smith is their current guy. He got injured. Gosh, I can't think of his name right now. He was with the Eagles long time.
Jason Peters.
Yes, Jason Peters. So they have Jason Peters, who's 40 years old now, and Zach Martin. Those are like the two guys that you could consider reliable. And then the Bucs, they lost their 2 guards, almost lost Ryan Jensen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, both offensive lines kind of in a struggle spot right now.
The whole Jason Peters story is like crazy. I was reading like a little thread about him on Twitter. He was an undrafted tight end coming out of college at 305, a 305-pound tight end. Got cut, ended up on the practice squad, got called up, and ended up being a menace as a blocker. Then all of a sudden they tried him out of O-line, and he just had no idea what he was doing, had no proper training, and just didn't lose like a rep in practice, just dominated. Then he just wanted to start for the next 18 years on offensive line.
Nice.
Just casually.
I'm going to go the Bucs in this one as well, though. I fear that the Cowboys might come out and win, and then we hear all the Dallas fans, this is our year, So they say every year.
This is our year to go 9-8 again.
Yeah. But finally, let's talk about the Monday night game, that being the Broncos and the Seahawks. Kind of wish that we had a better Monday night game because I feel like this one's going to be a blowout. But to see Russell Wilson return home, he's going to be riding around the Seahawks stadium, and he's going to be dialed in.
To see what Tyler Lockett said about him, saying that Seahawks fans should be cheering for Russell Wilson in this game. Like that was a quote I saw today. Tells me all I need to know. Seahawks are preparing to lose this game. They're not preparing to win. Tyler Lockett's like I saw who I had throwing me my whole NFL career, and then I just saw who I have now. We can't even compete in this league. That's what he's thinking. I think they're gonna have a kind of loser mentality this year and really just not be a fun team to watch.
Right.
So I think this should be a safe Broncos cover. I don't care what the spread is.
I think it'd be fair to say you shouldn't boo Russell Wilson because he's done such great things for your organization. Come on, fans, he's brought you so much success.
But you don't need to necessarily cheer if he throws a touchdown in your face.
Let's actively cheer for our former quarterback who's going to beat our ass.
Yeah, like he's on your team. Like it was cool to see Stafford win a Super Bowl. Like don't get me wrong. Like I don't ever expect to see any talented Lions players ever win Super Bowls. So it was cool to see it, but I wasn't just like buying the stupid Detroit Rams merch that I saw around. That stuff was stupid. So like you can go and support him, the guy, but at the end of the day, you got to have your team's back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So excited for week 1 to finally kick off. Chase, any last thoughts, any last excitements as we go into week 1?
I'm just super excited for this fantasy year. I've got a lot of teams going. No best ball teams here since Underdog wasn't allowed in Michigan. Very, very frustrating. But I got a lot of dynasty teams. Got a few redrafts. I got a good mix. Fantasy football's gonna be a lot of fun combined with what looks like a pretty interesting NFL season. I think we kind of know who the clear good and bad teams are going to be. Sure, someone's going to surprise, be good. Someone's going to surprise and be bad. But it's finally time. NFL football is back. College did a good job holding us over the last 2 weeks, but I get why some people say there's nothing like college football because you can see a 65-63 game. But at the end of the day, I love seeing players play at the highest level, and the NFL is the highest level. It's just such a great product to watch.
I got to say, I am just so excited to see the kickoff between the Bills and the Rams. Both of these teams are powerhouses in the league this year. And, I mean, week 1 games aren't always the best, but to have two of the best teams, even if they're not at their best, it's still going to be a fantastic game. So, really hoping for good things there, and can't wait for the season to get started.
Agreed.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank you so much for coming out and giving it a listen. If you want to stay up to date with all that we do, you can follow us on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. That's, again, on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. If you are watching on YouTube, if you could, please give us a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know down in the comments who you're predicting to win in the Week 1 Pick'ems, and then hit the bell to turn on notifications. If you want to... or if you're listening on a podcast platform, if you could, please give us a 5-star rating and a follow. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming out. And as always, we're not professionals.